What's going on, fam? Day 25 here, Jan 6th, 2021. For anybody paying attention, it's my birthday in 2 days, so here's to turning 33. Um, for fear of sounding like a broken record, what I wanted to talk about today is my general anxiety about life. um, so here's the thing, right? Because I know if you've been watching these videos for a while, like what I've said several times now, and it's still going on, is I just generally feel this feeling of just like anxiousness, or I'm generally like fidgety, like I'm just very fidgety, and there's always this feeling of like there's something I'm forgetting to do, right? There's something I'm forgetting to do. There's this other task I need to do. I need to, I need to book an appointment. I need to go see the doctor. I need to make a song. I need to put up a video on Instagram. I need to put up a TikTok. I need to put up a tall story on Instagram, but oh wait, I also need to put up a square video for my Instagram newsfeed. I need to check my email. I need to check my messages. I need to check my Slack, right? There's just like, feeling anxious just saying this. But I just developed this kind of, and I wouldn't call it general anxiety, but I've just developed this kind of feeling of like there's always something else that I need to do. There's always like, I've got a long to-do list, and there's something, there's something in the back of my mind. Oh, I'm forgetting to do it. There's, going to be really important. I'm going to miss this thing. I'm going to miss this deadline. And it creates this weird paradox where on one hand, I'm really kind of like mentally stimulated, and I'm like, okay, I need to do these things. I need to cross off my to-do list. I need to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do this. On one hand, it does that, but on the other hand, it also takes up it takes up just so much mental energy, just like dealing with all these like variables and thoughts, and just like always feeling like there's something I'm forgetting to do. It takes up so much mental energy that most of the time I'm just like exhausted. And so like, just right now I had to take like basically like a 30-minute nap just to like kind of like chill out and just relax, just like, whew, breathe. It's going to be okay. Um, and so there's just been this underlying feeling in me. And the first thing that I've come to realize is that it's unacceptable, right? It's unacceptable to just like keep going on and not do anything about it, right? And so I've been trying to figure out, okay, what are some real tangible steps that I can take to start working on this, to start addressing this. And I know I've talked about this before, but looking at doing a better job of scheduling things in my calendar, right? Because part of the problem right now is I have all these things in my head of like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that, whatever. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to book that appointment, right? And there's something about, okay, just put it in the calendar, and then like I know there's a designated time where it's gonna get taken care of. It's gonna be okay, and then that lets my mind relax to be like, okay, it's gonna happen, right? So I took some time today. Because I was like, I need to do something about this, because I can't let this keep going on and on and on and on forever, right? This is just basic life management, really, and I just need to get on top of it, right? It's really what it comes down to. So I took some time today, and I sat down, and I spent a good like almost hour and a half, and I looked at my calendar, and I just went through everything, and I started adding things in. I was like, okay, I need to make sure I've got some time in here to like learn music theory. Okay. Make sure you've got some time to sit down and just record a beat. Okay. Make sure you have time for your, Facebook lead gen campaign that you want to run, right? Make sure you've got time to eat and have lunch and have dinner. Make sure you've got time to work out, right? And so I was scheduling all these things into my calendar, right? Make sure you've scheduled in time to, any other details you need to get ready around flying to Colombia, right? Make sure you've got time to like sort that out, right? So I started putting all this in my calendar. And then I looked at my calendar, and like honestly my head started to hurt, because I was looking at my calendar, and it's just like like it was just full with like to-do items, and like gotta do this and gotta do this and gotta do this, and like there's a short time period, you've got an hour to do this, and then you've got a half hour to do this, all right? And it's just like back to back like appointments and to-do items. And I was looking at that, and I was like, my head hurts, right? Because not only is it just like a lot of things, but it's also a lot of jumping between things. Because what I was originally trying to structure was like, okay, basically every day in the morning when I get up, I spend my first hour learning about music. I spend my second hour making a beat. I spend my third hour doing a lead gen campaign. I spend my fourth hour having client calls. I spend my fifth hour, whatever, having a workout, having lunch. And then the next day, it's like that same schedule repeats itself. Because I thought that'd be a good way, just to add more structure to my day. But again, I was looking at that, I was like, it still doesn't feel right. It still doesn't feel like that would fit my personality. And so something that I've learned about myself is where I feel most excited and most, enthusiastic about life is where I have like one big block of time just to do a thing. I'm not very good at multitasking. I'm not very good at rapidly switching between things. So I'm like, do 20 minutes here and then half an hour here and 15 minutes here, right? When you're always rapidly switching between tasks, my brain anyway kind of shuts down. It's like, I don't want to do this thing, right? Whereas I'm much better if I have like a 4-hour block, a 6-hour block, an 8-hour block, where it's like, all I have to do this one day is just this one task, right? So for example, right now, and I've talked about this before, my big goal right now is developing my Facebook lead gen campaign to get new coaching clients, right? That's like my big thing that I'm working in. And so instead of chopping that up like 1 hour each day, I said, okay, I'm just going to block this in as an 8-hour block. And not only for one day, I'm going to give myself 3 days in a row. So it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? 3 days in a row, these like 8-hour blocks. So it's basically for 3 days straight, like 72 hours. All I have to do in that period of time is work on my lead gen campaign, right? So that could be, recording new video. It could be playing around with different photo. It could be writing new copy. It could be brainstorming new offers. It could be working on the whole like remarketing campaign. So somebody sees video 1 and then they're eligible to see video 2, right? So, and it could also work on the WhatsApp follow-up sequence. It could include, the email follow-up sequence, right? There's a whole bunch of things contained within that lead gen campaign. So there's always going to be something to work on. But basically what it means is that I now have a 72-hour block every week where all I have to do in that 3-day block of time is just focus on that one task. And then that, within that, I can break it down into smaller subtasks. But it just means that my brain can kind of relax and say, okay, for these 3 days, I only have to do this one thing. Don't worry about anything else. Just get focused on this. And what that means is it means that I can get absorbed in it, right? I can get lost in it. I can get absorbed in it. I can, spend hours kind of, playing and experimenting and trying things and editing and, creating and, seeing what I can create. Because the problem is that when you have a 1 hour timeline, you're like, oh, I gotta, it's like anxiety, like, oh my God, I gotta like do this thing and I've got a 1 hour deadline and then it's gotta be done and then it's over. And so just having the 3-day block of time means I can just I can be more immersed in it, right? I can immerse myself in that world. Because again, the problem with multitasking, you're always jumping between different tasks. And so this means I can just immerse my brain in that world for 3 days. You don't have to think about anything else but this, right? And then a few other days in the week, I've got like music making days, right? So that includes, taking some like music theory courses, and it includes just like jamming, just like, playing on the piano and making songs. Again, but I've set these up as like large blocks of time so I can just get immersed in it as I'm doing it. And then when I took a step back and I looked at my calendar once I'd made those changes, I looked at it and I was like, you know what? Like I had this feeling of like, oh, this feels good, right? This feels comfortable. This feels relaxing. This feels doable. This feels like it fits my personality. The other thing that I did is I removed, again, some of the less necessary things, right? So for example, I decided right now, and this was an executive decision, I decided that right now, kind of exercise and working out is actually a low priority for me. I came to the decision that, a good exercise regimen is kind of a luxury, right? It's kind of a luxury that you have. If you think of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? A good exercise regimen is like up there, higher up on the echelon, right? Lower down at the bottom is like get business started, set up lead gen campaign, have clients coming in, make sales, make money, right? Once the business is set up, because this is one of the things when setting up a new business, the hardest part of setting up a new business is that first 6 months, year, maybe 2 years, right? That's when you're really grinding, getting all the pieces of the infrastructure together. Once you have the general infrastructure of a business together and it's up and it's running and it's humming, that doesn't necessarily mean it's making, millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, but even just making enough money that like you can comfortably live on, right? Which my first goal for that is just $3,000, three. My first income goal is $3,000 a month. Actually, no, I said 25. $2,500 profit, right? $2,500 profit, I figure, is enough money. Like, it's not a luxurious life, but it's enough money to live abroad, pay for an Airbnb, buy food, buy the occasional plane ticket to a new country, right? Like $2,500, it's not lavish, but it's like enough to like cover basic expenses and live not at home, right? So that's my first goal. But really, those first 6-12 months of launching a new business, that's like the hardest part, where you just have to be like focused, get the pieces together, get the infrastructure, do all the difficult stuff. Once that's up and running and it's going, it becomes pretty self-regulatory. Like it largely, if you set up the business properly, it can largely just keep running on its own. Because really, again, so let me just step back for a second, right? So I keep talking about this, the Facebook lead gen campaign, right? And so, without going on too much of a tangent here, basically what I'm trying to create is a system where once I've created and I've dialed in the Facebook ads that I'm running, it's like I've got the Facebook ads, I turn them on, I spend money, and then clients predictably come out on the other side, right? And so part of what I'm working through is, how do I take somebody from a cold audience member, somebody who doesn't know me, has never seen my face before, doesn't know anything about me, they're cold, right? How do I take somebody who's cold and how do I start to warm them up? How do I take them through this journey of warming them up, getting them to know me, getting them to like me, right? Eventually getting them to a point where it's like red hot, they really like me, they want to buy from me, they want to work with me, right? That's really the process that I'm working on. What is that journey? What do I have to do to take people on that journey, so that then at the other end comes a fire hose of prospects, clients that are just like excited to be like, oh my God, Arthur, I want to work with you. Here's my money. Take my money, please, right? Because once I've set that up, once I've dialed in that infrastructure, right, and I've like kind of mastered that process, not to say that it never needs to be changed ever, but it's like, it's good at that point, right? It's good. It's up and running. Will I always need to like make tweaks and updates and changes? And, I said, in one of my videos, I said 2021 and now it's 2025. So I should probably update the year, things like that. Sure. But once it's up and running, it's good to go. So all this to say, I went on a little bit of tangent here. I realized, okay, exercise is a luxury, and I don't, obviously I want to eat well and stay healthy as much as I can, but like having regular exercise in my calendar, that's a luxury. So I said, screw it, take it out. Take working out from your calendar, because I really wanted to simplify my calendar down so that when I look at it, I'm like, cool, today I'm doing my lead gen campaign. Tomorrow I'm spending the day making music. And I know that I've got that whole day to myself to just do my thing. As well, I have left some open spaces as well, so that people can book, clients can book calls with me, so that like I'm not completely a recluse here. But yeah, I'm feeling much better now that I've sat down and I rearranged my whole calendar, which I feel works much better for who I am, my personality, how I like to work. So that was me taking action to address an issue, a problem in my life. Now, of course, though, we're going to see, okay, there's the theory. Now let's put that theory into practice, and let's see over the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, how my life plays out, and whether I feel like I'm more on top of my life, whether I feel more organized, whether I feel more productive, whether I feel just less exhausted from having to work and worry about everything. Anyway, so this will be, we'll keep an eye on this over the next several weeks, months, years, whatever, and we'll keep you posted how it goes. But I am feeling better. I'm feeling excited. Let's do it. 2022. Love your world.